Newcomer is here with us. He's got a great story in this week's edition of the magazine. It's about Amazon on K Street, the famous lobbying corridor there. Hasn't gone so well, and also hasn't gone so well in some of these local races.
Right, so they spend a ton of money on lobbying, $4 million. In a quarter, I think they lobbied on more issues than any tech company last year. They spent about $1.5 million just on their local Seattle race. So Amazon is flooding politics with money. But then, as I document in the story, has a lot of problems, like issue to issue, just really struggling sort of with this tech clash and to win the political battles with all that money.
So is it the company at large has problems, or are there a few individuals who really have some problems?
Well, the company as a business obviously is doing great, but then Jay Carney runs, former Obama press secretary, runs this huge policy shop with his deputy, this guy, Brian Huseman, former Republican administration, Federal Trade Commission lawyer. And together they've really tried to staff up so they're ready to fight. And so on a lot of issues, whether it's like trade wars, they have somebody in talking to the administration trying to lobby. But then on some of these bigger, more iconic issues, we talk about the move to New York, we could talk about Seattle, we could talk about this huge JEDI contract where Amazon was competing to win a $10 billion government contract, and then Microsoft came out of nowhere and took it from them. So Amazon has had just a lot of trouble on the policy front.
Well, and it's interesting too, because you document very well a number of these cases, which you just described in brief. But what strikes me, too, is that on paper, it looks like they did all the right things.
Right.
They hire a big-time Democrat. They hire a big-time Republican. They've got the team in place. And then, and this feels very 2019, it's a bunch of unforced errors in a lot of ways that ultimately sort of set them back. Tell us about that.
Right. So if we take, Jay Carney, this very polished communicator, I think he's hired during the Obama administration when it seems like Hillary Clinton might win again. Amazon takes, responding to Trump tweets, a sort of almost hostile posture towards Trump. Then Trump's elected.
This is during the campaign.
Exactly, during the campaign. And then Trump's elected, and so Bezos and Trump have this very negative relationship, partially because Bezos owns the Washington Post. Then they have a Democrat as their chief sort of spokesman. So that's a challenge. And then time passes, and Carney has now more recently given an interview where he suggested that there weren't any patriots working in the Trump administration, unlike the Obama and Bush administrations, which he apologized for. He made this really bad tweet about umpires during the national games, so he's just had some challenges as sort of the public voice of Amazon. And then the other character is this guy, Brian Huseman, who's sort of the inside operator. And he staffed up this team, but there's just been a lot of drama internally.
Well, and that's what's interesting because, you're seeing the drama play out within the company as well. So they've done apologies externally as well as having to apologize to everybody inside as well.
Right. So with
people questioning what they're doing.
Exactly. With Carney, he wrote an email titled Self-Criticism to his staff, just talking about the umpire tweets, reflecting that he's not just some, guy out on Twitter. He reflects this global powerhouse of a company. And
can I read that tweet? Calling the umpires, quote, a bunch of overweight, diabetic, half-blind geriatrics. He ended his tweet with a call to bring in the machines.
Right. And, obviously the first half is what everyone is upset about. But then for a company that's accused all the time of automation, it's just very strange to be hitting a message of, automating out the umpire. Like, in every way, the tweet is just odd.
Where's Jeff Bezos on all of this? I mean, these are his two key people here.
I mean, he's, very behind the scenes. And I think, given his ownership of the Washington Post, has wanted to take a more, confrontational or at least sort of strong position against Trump. And that he's picked Carney to sort of be his guide. But Bezos is very behind the scenes. I mean, it's hard to know exactly what a CEO is thinking about, the small sort of the infighting within his DC office.
And so, Eric, widen the aperture for us a little bit, because you look across the tech landscape, you understand how these companies work, not just Amazon, but, the whole array, I guess, of social media companies, tech companies, who all of a sudden really have to care more about Washington, in part because Washington is all of a sudden caring a lot about them, and maybe not in a good way.
Yeah, I'm growing tired of the phrase, but we're in a tech clash, right?
Yeah.
And there's, an antitrust investigations, the Federal Trade Commission, the Department of Justice, the House Judiciary Committee, state attorneys general. Everybody is investigating big tech companies, including Amazon, into antitrust. So
Democrats and Republicans are all in on this.
They're the punching bag. And so that's the situation Amazon faces. In my story, I talk about a lobbyist who, has a generally positive view of Amazon, sort of defending them, saying, some of the problems are just they've, grown so much. I think they doubled sort of the lobbying staff over the last 3 years. So that's part of the reason. But he says Amazon might have trouble, but they're doing better than Google and Facebook. And I think that is a sort of fair defense. I don't dig in to Google and Facebook. That's a whole nother dive. But there is a general sense that the tech companies in general are struggling to respond to the
because
animosity.
As much as the president himself has gone after Jeff Bezos, we haven't seen Jeff Bezos testifying on Capitol Hill.
Right.
We have seen Mark Zuckerberg and Sheryl Sandberg.
Right.
So there is this element that despite some of the headwinds that you described, that maybe they're doing okay.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, and some of the problems
on a relative basis.
Yeah, I think definitely when it comes to testifying in front of Congress, in general, sort of congressman animosity towards the CEO, Mark Zuckerberg is winning that fight, and Bezos looks a lot better. But Amazon has had a lot of problems, like in Seattle, in New York. So they're not all sort of the federal, election type problems that Facebook has had.
But I do think about as these big tech companies look to broaden out their revenue streams, the cloud, and particularly playing into those government contracts, those are big deal contracts.
Right.
And I think about our audience, investors. They're watching this to see whether or not they're able to make some inroads.
Right. And, JEDI, this Defense Department contract, isn't just about that $10 billion deal. Right. It's sort of, that's what's getting you in deeper with the Defense Department. And so I don't think it's just that amount of money. It's significant, but Amazon is a $870-something billion market cap company, but it's about the long-term relationship.
That's Eric Newcomer. Love this story about what Amazon is up to. They're spending heavily in lobbying efforts in Washington. They're lobbying more U.S. government entities than any other tech company. But it's interesting, Jason, it doesn't seem to be paying off.
It's not working at all. You're exactly right, Carol. And this is coming at a time where the relationship between Washington and Silicon Valley, in the words of Facebook, it's complicated.
Jason, you had me at you're exactly right.
This is Bloomberg.
Startups and research universities like New Jersey Institute of Technology are fueling the innovation economy. And few people are better positioned to see what's on the horizon in New Jersey than physicist and state representative Andrew Zwicker.
How technology is transforming our financial sector is revolutionary, and so much of that is in New Jersey. We are innovators when it comes to agriculture, and there is opportunity now for great transformation in how are we going to grow food in an ever-growing population, and how do we turn urban centers into agricultural centers. Autonomous vehicles is another one where we have some of the world's leading experts, and how this will transform how those who are either elderly or are impaired can start to use autonomous vehicles to transform their lives and have access to transportation they could have never had before.
NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology. Learn more at njit.edu/research.
Asset managers who seize change to launch new strategies, add distribution channels, or exploit new technology to re-engineer the investor experience are often rewarded. However, in an industry paralyzed with complexity, few act with agility or decisively. Few run their businesses strategically, yet the most competitive managers in the market know with the right partner and a flexible operating system, you can. Go boldly toward change with SEI Investment Manager Services.
Determination and operational strength are both essential factors for growth in asset management. I'm Steve Meyer, President and Head of SEI's Investment Manager Services Division. We know that disruptive forces create opportunities around the world. If you see potential in change, our industry specialists will maximize SEI's integrated platform of data and risk management, global investment operations, compliance support, and investor services to position your asset management business for success. Come grow with us.
With SEI Investment Manager Services, you lead the charge in a competitive marketplace. Learn more at SEIC.com/seize change.
On 3, our unlimited data is actually unlimited, like 4 reels. That means you can scroll and scroll and scroll through all the Black Friday deals.
Because we have no speed limits, no data caps, and you'll be 5G ready at no extra cost.
Wow, so many savings.
Our Black Friday deals are now on. Save up to £480. Switch to 3, in-store or online. See 3.co.uk/unlimited-data. Savings on selected phones on 24-month contracts. Ends 5th of December. Terms apply.
Your old car, your loyal friend, so many memories. It's impossible to leave their side.
Until now, get £5,000 off a selected brand new Citroën when you trade in your old car.
Alors, out with the old, in with the new. Hello Citroën, hello comfort.
The Citroën Swappage. Trade in your old car for a brand new Citroën, including the award-winning SUV range.
Citroën.
Discount on OTR price of selected Citroens excluding C1. Registered by the 31st of December when trading in a qualifying vehicle. Not in conjunction with other offers. Search Citroen Swappage for full T's and C's.
Going, gone. Some things just don't hang around. Like a great deal in Tesco Mobile's best ever Black Friday event. Right now you can get the Samsung Galaxy S10 for just $29.99 a month. But this deal ends Sunday 1st of December. Catch it before it's gone. Tesco Mobile's best ever Black Friday event. Tesco Mobile. Every little helps.
Best ever Black Friday based on range of products in promotion was £35.99, now £29.99. Offer ends 1st of December. 36-month credit agreement, rolling monthly usage agreement, subject to status. Fair use policy applies. See tescomobile.com/terms.
NFL fans, the action continues this weekend on TuneIn Premium.
Thrown down the middle, caught, touchdown over the shoulder, back to the end zone, Snead. Wow!
This Sunday, TuneIn has every NFL football game starting with the Tennessee Titans at the Indianapolis Colts at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern and closing out Sunday night with the Patriots at the Houston Texans at 8:20 p.m. Eastern.
Breaks a tackle at the 5 and scoots into the end zone for the touchdown.
At home or on the go, hear the home and away call of every NFL game this season on TuneIn Premium. Upgrade today.
Now the news.
A suspect who carried out a stabbing attack on London Bridge has been shot and killed by police, and the BBC is reporting that 2 others are dead. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson.
Well, I've just been briefed by the Commissioner and the Assistant Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police about the events at London Bridge this afternoon, and while this is an ongoing investigation, the police can confirm that this was a terrorist incident.
A major storm system will track from the western U.S. and head east. Meteorologist Chad Myers says New England will be hit.
We're going to watch Saturday night and Sunday trying to get in and out of the airports in the Northeast. And by Sunday, 7 o'clock, the snow is everywhere across New England. And it doesn't even leave until Monday night.
On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 113 points. The S&P off 13. The Nasdaq down 40. I'm Ann Cates.
And I'm Nancy Lyons from the Bloomberg Newsroom. U.S. stocks all finished the shortened trading day lower. The Dow and the S&P both ended down 0.4%. The Nasdaq was down 0.5%. The dollar posted a 9th straight session of gains, the longest winning streak since January of 2016. It is the start of the holiday shopping season, and a survey from Deloitte shows 79% of respondents plan to go shopping over the 5-day holiday weekend, which is higher than last year. The estimated spending of $415 per household is similar to last year's pre-holiday estimate. The trend of brick and mortar losing ground to e-commerce is also expected to continue, with participants planning about 53% of their spending via online sources, 43% in stores. John Sylvia, the founder of Dynamic Economic Strategy, says the consumer is still a key driver of the U.S. economy.
Based upon employment growth, income gains, consumer confidence, and the wealth component, which, again, for you folks, when you're looking at the equity market and other financial services, is remarkably strong.
Apple AirPods have fired up one of Asia's top stocks this year. Shares of China's Luxshare Precision have more than tripled in 2019. The company assembles the Apple devices, which take up 50% share of the market. Sales of AirPods are expected to double to 60 million this year. Luxshare stands to be the biggest beneficiary of that increase in production. This may be the only item that is not on sale this Black Friday: Christmas trees. Prices soared to a record last year. This year, they're likely to be higher. The average cost of a fresh tree in 2018 was $78. The head of the National Christmas Tree Association says supplies are tight and demand is rising. Global news 24 hours a day, on air and at TikTok, on Twitter, powered by more than 2,700 journalists and analysts in more than 120 countries. I'm Nancy Lyons. This is Bloomberg.
This is Bloomberg Business Week with Carol Massar and Jason Kelly from Bloomberg Radio.
So, Carol, I caught up with the co-founders of Atoms. You see me wear their sneakers.
Yes, I have.
I wanted to know the story underneath it, and I have to say, it is even more fascinating than I thought. It's a husband and wife team, Waqas Ali and Sidra Kasim. They met in their village in Pakistan. They came to Brooklyn via Y Combinator. It's so cool.
Here's your conversation.
All right, so this is a shoe that I really like, I have to say. I'm a bit of a sneakerhead, and I love the different feel and just the whole different vibe of this shoe. So I'm a little biased coming into this interview. Waqas, I want to start with you because the story of this company, Pakistan, Y Combinator, Brooklyn, how did that happen?
It is a kind of crazy story, and we did not intended it to be like this when we were starting off. We had no idea. We started our first shoe company in our hometown in Pakistan, Ukhada, and then we kept going. It was a small project, became a Kickstarter project. Then we applied into Y Combinator, first shoe company to get into Y Combinator, first company from Pakistan to get into Y Combinator. And in 2015, we moved to the US in San Francisco.
And so, Sidra, why do you think the pitch resonated so much? There are a lot of firsts there. What was it about this particular company that you think caught the interest of Y Combinator and ultimately a lot of big-name investors?
Yeah, so this company is not part of Y Combinator. Our previous shoe company was part of Y Combinator.
Got it. Okay.
But I think the exciting thing is that this shoes is not just a shoes. This is a very, very personal shoes. Like, very comfortable, very durable, very breathable, and as well as the fit is very precise for you. And like when we were inviting our friends to try on the first sample, and I still remember like their impressions, like they were super, super excited to try on the shoes. And we started this as a very small project, and somehow like it started becoming bigger and bigger.
And so what was the inspiration, Waqas, for this particular shoe?
So we were making and selling dress shoes already. And when we were in Pakistan, we had no idea that people are actually mainly wear sneakers every day. They don't wear dress shoes as much. Even that trend is declining. Even wearing your Atoms right now.
Absolutely.
So we noticed that, and then we were like, hey, we both are very passionate about product, particularly in shoes. It's one of the hardest products to ever make. Shoes is very difficult. And we were like, hey, can we make a shoe that people would want to wear every day? Not that we want to sell. Can we build a shoe that people would want to wear every day? And that is where this idea of a casual, very, very simple, all the products we wear every single day, they tend to be very simple.
Right.
Still extremely, extremely comfortable. We were going after the best of the best in the industry after Nike and Adidas and comfort. And we only make one shoe, so we put a lot of effort into the precision sizing, the quarter sizing, the comfort of the shoes, the laces, how high or how small something is. Like this midsole, it took us 6 months to work on that to just make it more comfortable than the Adidas Ultra.
6 months on the midsole?
On the midsole, yeah. It was it was one of the hardest things, because if you only make one shoes and that you're going to wear it every day, when you just one product, you can't just like compromise on that. You have to get it right. Otherwise, you have no business, right?
Right, of course.
Yeah.
And so why is manufacturing so difficult for shoes, Sidra? Because this is something you've worked on for a long time. You've worked in Korea, I believe, on that particular aspect of the business. Why are shoes so difficult?
I think one of the most important reason is you have all your body weight on the shoes. And then shoes actually go into different environment. Like you sit in the office. With different sitting positions. Some people, they stand a lot. Some people, they walk a lot. So basically, shoes is not just like a simple product like your handbag where you store things.
Right.
Shoes is something which basically you carry on throughout the day from morning to evening. So that's why like making a product which is basically accommodate you throughout the day,
right,
and as well as super comfortable is very hard to make.
Again, I guess I'd never really thought about that. I mean, there's a lot of physics involved, I guess, in our interaction with shoes in a way that we don't have with a lot of other products. So why do you think, especially having been in the dress shoe business and now in the sneaker business, why are sneakers having such a moment? Wakas?
Mainly it is because of a lot of cultural icons are the face of this movement. That is one part. America especially and world in general is becoming more and more passionate because we have so many young people coming into the world these days, and
right,
they are not hesitant. They are not hesitant about ideas. They're not hesitant about movement. They're not hesitant about their interest or passion about certain celebrities or icons or whatever we want to call them. So that is like what we learned. We actually have a name for our customer called the New Creative. And these are people who are very considerate about what they buy, where they buy it from, what things look like. And every brand like Nike and Adidas, they champion it with sportsmanship. And now we are seeing a lot more entertainment, a lot more lifestyle.
And that's Wakas Ali and Sidra Kasim, the husband and wife team behind Adams. It was so cool to catch up with them. I have to say, I love their sneakers. I wanted to meet them. I really didn't know what to expect.
Right.
And it was an amazing story.
Great story, Jason. And I love the backstory, too, about this company and these two individuals. It's this week's Bloomberg Business Week Extra podcast, so check it out, everyone. Coming up, we've got Google's complicated relationship with the military. It is the magazine's cover story.
This is Bloomberg.
Why do hedge funds and other alternative managers rely on Pershing? Mark Alderati, a managing director at BNY Mellon's Pershing and head of Prime Services, explains.
In today's environment of market volatility, Pershing's Prime Services is well positioned to support